Here in the on the screen is my summary of welfare benefits, which we put into all our revision guides and our boot camps. It's a two-page affair, as you can see, and it summarises in fair enough detail all of the welfare benefits that are available to customers and clients of yours. And the one I want to refer you to really is the first page, which takes a look at the issues around state pension. And we're going to take a look at those in a second. But the first sort of categories that I focus on, if I just zoom in for you, you can see these. What I like to talk about is each of the welfare benefits and whether they are dependent on national insurance to get them, whether they are means tested, and whether they're taxed. And each of the welfare benefits, these three categories, feature very strongly in questions in the exam, but also in the way they operate. Now, a lot of people ask me about means testing and how that works, and I want to give you a quick update on that one before we take a look at the state pensions as well. So let's do that and go across to another whiteboard, shall we? We're all over the place today with the cameras, aren't we, in the studio? You just press a button and change the view. So welfare benefits and means testing is what I want to talk with you quickly. Now, as I mentioned to you, welfare benefits themselves, the things you claim, state benefits, are dependent. The amount of money you get and the type of benefit you get is really dependent on whether you've got a national insurance record. So when we talk about welfare benefits, we talk about national insurance record. Now, if you have a national insurance record, then it gives you special benefits. You get things like state pension, and you get employment support allowance, job seekers allowance. You get better benefits. You get better money if you've got a national insurance record. So make sure you keep your record up to date. Now, also, if you claim the benefits that give you that you claim because you've got a national insurance record, there's no means testing, and that's really important. So if you've got a benefit such as state pension, for example, there's no means testing. Now, we'll talk about means testing in a second, what it means. Now, the second category, of course, is if you haven't got a national insurance record. So if there's no NI record, or maybe your national insurance record is not up to date, or you've not earned much at all, or you've done anything, doesn't matter, but you haven't got a national insurance record, then the benefits you qualify for are all means tested. And that's the best way of seeing the difference. So no NI record, you claim various benefits such as universal credit, and they're all means tested. So what does means testing mean then? Well, means testing means that they check to see how loaded you are, pretty much. The first thing they check down here for you is they take a look at your income. And they look at how much income you've got. Naturally, if you've got a lot of income, then you're not going to get welfare benefits, are you? Makes sense, doesn't it? It makes think about it. But the big one they tend to check, of course, is the amount of capital that you have. In other words, liquid investments, money, cash that you can liquidise pretty quickly. If you've got a lot of that, then they tend to not give you the benefit. And fair enough, if you've got a lot of money in the bank, you shouldn't really be qualifying for welfare benefits, should you? So let's just dive into some of that detail for you, first of all. Now, income is income. It doesn't matter what kind of income you've got, that generally qualifies as income. Capital is slightly different. Capital, put a little sort of box there for you, a big bag of money. You've got investments in the bank, you've got shares, you've got bonds, gilts, all the different investments come into that as well. Collectives, deposit accounts of the bank. What isn't covered though is your main residence, of course, your property. That's not covered as capital, which makes sense because you've got to live somewhere, haven't you? And pension pots as well are not covered. Let's put that in there for you. So if you've got a pension pot of whatever amount of money, that's not covered as capital. But the income the pension produces, if you're taking an income from it, so if you crystallise it, that's income. So you've got to look at that side of things as well. So how do they look at income then when it comes to, or how do they look at income and capital when it comes to getting your benefits or not? First of all, if you are, let's move that out of the way for a second. If you are under the age of 67, so let's put you in there, shall we? Yeah. If you're under the age of 67, then you will qualify, or 66. It's state pension age, state retirement age is what they're looking at. I mean, I'm retiring at 67, which is why I look at that age. Then you will get benefits. If you're above state retirement benefit, state pension age, you get the pensions credit, which is another one altogether. So how do they work it? Well, basically, if you've got more than 16 grand in capital, then you get no means tested state benefits. In other words, if you're trying to claim for the benefit and you've got more than 16 grand in the bank, you ain't going to get none. If you've got between 6k and 16,000, then you'll get a tapered amount. You get less and they kind of taper it, they reduce it. If you've got less than £6,000, then they ignore it totally and you get your benefit payable in full. So that's pretty much the rule, really, which is great. Those figures have been around for a long time, by the way. Inflation's obviously eroded that, but they've ignored that one. Now, whether different governments will operate different things in the future, they may well do. But that's pretty much how means testing works. Okay, let's move on from there then, shall we? So back to our slides then. As you can see from our visuals here, you've got these categories: national insurance, whether it's dependent on getting it or not, means testing, or taxation. And that's how we tend to work it.